which is very funny. That thing almost happened. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the show. Kish. Thank you for saying hi, even though you can't be here. Hey, what a wonderful fellow Kish is. Making sure I got to get up early. I think like we were going to Kish's kids, even though he's not much older than us. But he's like, I got to make sure, even though I can't be there, I got to wake up, get his own kid ready, him and his wife go off to like a school meeting, do whatever, and then have to be like, oh, we have to go make sure our boys are okay and say good morning. Good morning, sir. And good morning to you, Bobby. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Patrick?
I am fucking tired, man. Like I am. I had a show last night at Comics at Mohegan Sun. I got home at like 1:30. I had been very tired all day. It's been like a long week of running around. You and I first time doing all 5 days in the mornings. Where we're not getting that extra little sleep in. Not that I usually take it, but this morning when my alarm went off at 7:20, I was like, "Oh, this alarm could go to fucking hell." You know what I mean? Like I could not do this. But then I was like, I'll miss the smiling faces. Mostly yours, Bobby. So I was like, I'm up. I got my coffee now. I'm ready to go.
I also slept through all my alarms. Thankfully, my dad called. He wanted to discuss the wedding coming up. So he was like, also, don't you have a podcast you should be doing? And I was like, yeah, in like 5 minutes. Son of a bitch. So I
Yeah.
had to
Oh,
get
I
up
didn't
early.
sleep through any. My problem. I've never once slept through an alarm ever in my life. Like no matter what, if it'll go off. I will wake up to it every time, and then I can never. I've never been a snooze guy. I've never been able to hit a button. I'm up. I'm just. Ugh. It takes me about 5 minutes, and I'm ready to go. Making coffee, moving around, searching for dumb stories, and then we're fine. But last night, I at the show, I did get to run into the legend, Rich Voss,
Oh,
because he
nice.
was headlining the 8 o'clock part the whole weekend there at Comics with the really funny Andre Kim, a really good comic too. And so I don't really know Voss, but I told as earlier this week we said on the podcast I was on Who Are These Podcasts with Carl talking about a story between Stuttering John and Rich Voss and all this stuff. So I thought I'd go up to Voss, and Voss had watched the video, talked about it in Jim and Sam. So I was like, oh, I'm the other guy in the video. He's like, oh, that other comic he said on Jim and Sam commented, said nice things about me. So I'm like, I go up to him and say, I'm the other comic. And I did. And in like normal Voss things, he's like, so what do you want, a trophy? But then he was like smiling and joked around as much as he can. Good guy. He was hanging out in the green room, and for the second show, we let the young comics, not all of them, come in, but like once in a while. But I don't like it when there's someone who's like kind of known because they do just staring at. We all did it when we started. You know what I mean? The other staring at weird, and I also know my boss the way he is. Does he want them there? But they're hanging out eating, and they said it was fine for them to come in, but to kind of be a ball buster, I did say to two of them because these two are newer guys, but they were very annoying. One guy, dude, probably this one black guy. I say young guy, but young new comics, but old guy, probably my age or whatever, a little bit younger. He would he went on stage. He was a black guy, but he went on stage and he did the black voice I do, dude. I'm not even kidding. Like he was regular, and then he just goes, "Oh, hello there, it's me. I'm doing the jokes, and I'm
Oh,
Papa the
shit.
Sandler man." And I'm like, I went up after. I'm like, "Is this okay? Like, can we all do it? Like, is this guy? Is
Oh,
this the pass?" So I didn't know if I got the pass, but like, so either that guy, and there was this big guy who looked like if Tom Selleck was like bloated, and he was like 22. He was like huge, and he had like a crazy mustache and weird looking guy. Good morning, Teresa. How are you? It was a very strange thing for these two guys together, and I had to walk them to the green room and show them that. And I said before we walked in, I go, and just so you know, the headliner in there, Rich Voss. I'm not sure if you heard of him. They're both, and one guy goes, "Yeah, I'm a fan." I go, "Oh, Rich hates eye contact. Please keep your heads down. You can acknowledge him if he acknowledges you." So we walked in, and go by, and then one of them just go, and they goes, like, "Hi, fellas." And I show them the stage. I walk them up. They're idiots. They're not understanding what the light means. I have to show. And if you know, Bobby, you've worked comics. Oh, by the way, and we're going to talk about that later. I will find out this week, but it looks very, very good that I'm going to have a special friend opening for me on my special.
ooh,
But anyway, but yeah, fingers crossed and all that. But I brought it up last
ooh,
night. Doesn't
thank
seem to be a
you.
problem. It's not pen on paper yet, but it's basically pen on paper. But anyway, so it was funny. Some of the guys who have been on this podcast, like Matt Sloan and guys like that, were like, "Where's Bobby?" And I was like, "Bobby should come down here and do spots." I go, "Bobby's not gonna waste his time with you pieces of shit." And the guy was laughing. I go, he lives pretty far, bro. He's like, "Oh, he's gonna come down here for a 10 minute spot and fucking on a bringer show." But and also Frank won't allow.
I was about to say, also, I don't know if you guys know Frank, but he is not a fan of
Well,
Bobby.
Frank's not gonna be there for a while because of health reasons, but whatever. It still wouldn't work. It would He wouldn't be pleased as punch. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So I'm walking them by, and I show them the stupid stage, whatever, and they're walking back. I walk back down, and one guy just goes, Mr. Frost, just want to say I'm a big fan. He's like, thanks, kid. He's like, and before he said anything, they just walked out the room. And then I walked back in, and I go, sorry about that. And Voss is like, they wouldn't even like look at me. I'm like, oh, I told them that you don't allow eye contact. And he's like, what the fuck? They're gonna think I'm an asshole. I'm like, you are an asshole. He goes, good point. He's like,
Thanks. I'm glad I taught you well, Oates.
and then better. So Dan Brown, friend of the show and everything, he comes with me all the time. He likes to sit in the green room, but now I'm like, Dan, you can go in there, but Rich Voss and Andre Kim are in there, and he knows Andre, but he's like, oh, so I can't go in. I go, no, they said you can go in, but they're just gonna be hanging there too. And he goes, okay. And I walk in, and Dan's just like hiding in a corner of that small little room, like that's there talking because he's so awkward anyway. And at one point, Voss is like, "What are you, a comic or something?" And he's like, he's like, he's
Or
like, yeah.
something.
He goes, sure. And then the first comic, this kid Ian Frost goes in the green room, and he's sitting there, and he said something to Voss, like big fan or something like that. And then Voss says to Andre, "Tell that kid to talk to you if he wants to talk to me." And he's kidding. He's kidding. And the kid's like, what the fuck? So it was a fun little dumb experience. But yeah, it was fun. When I talked to him for a minute, he had nice things to say about Carl. He was like, that guy really knows how to run a show. He said that show was pretty funny. He asked a lot of questions about how they make money on those things, which I think a lot of us have questions of how they make money on those things. But like, it was cool to see him and have that little world come together and stuff like that. So he did offer me a guest spot, and like I said, no, but and it's 3 different times he said he was never offer me anything again. It's funny that he kept remembering that. It'd be funny if he really means that, which is funny because I don't know if he's ever going to have an opportunity to offer me anything again. Anyway, but also I can get a spot there whenever I want to. But anyway, it was a fun night. Got to hang out with Dan, and Dion came with us, so we had the whole trifecta going and all that. We got there way too early because in Connecticut, I don't know if you heard about it, there was a huge accident with an explosion of like a tanker truck or something on 95 near Norwalk, and it's going to be shut down, like that area basically on and off till Monday. It was real bad. Now Norwalk is about 20-30 miles in the opposite direction of where I ever have to go, where Dan Brown has to come to get me, where Dion has to be. It has nothing to do with us. But Dan, when he gets nervous, Dan's like, should we go way earlier because of the accident? And I was like, and I don't like to make Dan, bothered. I'm like, sure, Dan, whatever you want. So we left an extra hour early, and Dion was like, why the fuck are we? But whatever, we avoided the traffic. The traffic that wasn't there.
20 miles in the wrong direction.
Yeah, it basically like if you said to me, hey, Pat, if you're going to the casino tonight in Connecticut, there's traffic in Harrisburg. And I'd be like, oh, I better leave early.
It's a long way to Harrisburg. It's closer to heaven.
Everything's closer to heaven than Mohegan Sun. But
that's still pretty far from you.
So how about you? What'd you have going on? I was like, did you watch the Knicks beat your team?
What was great was my dad called me with about 3 minutes left to play in the game to be like, you watching? And I don't have internet or cable right now, so I was watching on the internet. My stream was about 3 minutes behind, and he could have saved me a lot of pain and suffering and been like, just don't watch. But instead, made me watch them lose that game.
They fought. It was Charles Barkley said it too. It was a fun series. Every game was close. I think the Knicks are going to be in nothing but tight series. I think they can beat Indiana, but Indiana's young and can move. But it's going to be a fun series. But as a Knicks fan, you don't like seeing Indiana because it just reminds you of Reggie Miller and dumb shit. But the East is filling out where I mean, because I'm a Knicks fan too, I really think the Knicks can come out. I don't think anyone from the East is winning. I don't care who they are. Nobody from the East is winning an NBA championship. Someone from the West is winning an NBA championship. Love the Knicks to win. I can't see anyone who's in the East beating Minnesota, Denver, or OKC. I can see them beating the Clippers or Dallas, whoever wins that one. But even that, you got Kyrie on a team. You can't just count them out, and you can't count out any team with the Clippers if those guys all finally play together. How do you stop that? So it's like I think someone from the West obviously wins it. I think I'd like to see the best matchup. I'd like to see is probably Denver, just because I think they can run Joker a little more, but I still think Denver would win that. I think Anthony Edwards would just become a bigger star if he got to go to New York in the finals and start dunking on everyone. And then your boy Helium Mouth could be out there going, we won it finally. I did it. I'm a champion.
I think the exact opposite. I think the West is trash. Whoever wins the East is going to walk
Really?
over them. Yeah. The team you just mentioned, the Timberwolves, sat and soft still. Like, I think they get bullied by any other team they play.
Well,
Who
I
knows
don't
what
think
they're
they
doing.
come out. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying those
Yeah.
teams.
But
Yeah.
apply the same to OKC. Josh Giddey is going to cover Jalen Brunson. Josh Giddey's going to cover Vincenzo or whatever the fuck his name is. No. Easy win there. Maybe the Mavs give him a good game, but again, same with Jokic. I think they get matched up too well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't see. I don't see Indiana ever. I don't think Indiana coming out. I don't. Boston this year. I don't. They're too banged up. I don't. They're the one that everyone think would come out. I don't see them beating any of those teams in the West.
Yeah, I guess
OKC is fucking deep and fun. I mean, like that's a team that I think they come out of it this year, but you can't count Denver out until they're done. You know what I mean? But the East doesn't show me anything. But I guess if you're like, who do you want right now if you're the NBA? Like, I guess you want the defending champs out of the West because Minnesota's not bringing you a market. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
If the
no one
Clippers
else.
lose, you want Denver probably. Denver, New York would be your
Yeah,
out.
I guess Clippers Knicks is the big one, but like it's LA, then it's like Clippers. You know what I mean? And I know it's still not that anymore, but it still is that. It's not the Lakers. So it's everyone's like, what do you mean? Is that another team? Like the grandma check. Does grandma even know the Clippers are a team? It's like,
Thanks to
it's
Blake
like
Griffin because he dicked out that pussy.
yeah, that could be that. But anyone else out of the Boston or New York coming out doesn't hurt.
No.
Indiana doesn't hurt, but guess who's going to be at every game?
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
And that weird dude who pretends he's a positive coach, like that exists in the world.
Larry Bird? No, I'm kidding.
No, he wasn't. He choked his own players.
Rick
Who do you think
Carlisle?
Bob Knight the technique? Larry was like, here, you grab him right here.
I watched some of Rasheed Wallace's podcast yesterday, and he had Bonzi Wells on. They're good friends, and then someone from the chat asked the question, "Who was the biggest hothead ever in the NBA?" And they gave three options. They said Draymond Green, Latrell Sprewell, or you, Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed's like, "Yo, what the fuck, man?" But he was like laughing. He's like, "There's other people," so they're going through it, whatever, and they're kind of like making jokes, and then they're like, "All right, well," they're like, Rasheed's like, "I don't know, I don't think it's me." And they're like, how about Latrell? And they're like, I can't say the word he said, but he goes, he only choked one N word. He goes, that's it though. You ever been at work, want to choke your coach? And that's not really a bad thing. He's like, and they're like, Draymond gives out wrestling moves. He's like, and Rasheed's like, who gives headlocks during a game, giving out figure four? He's like, that's nuts.
They're like, you, Rasheed. You used to.
Yeah,
You're the reason why Draymond gets suspended, you piece of shit, because you got so many technicals.
Well, what he was saying was, him and Bonzi are both saying it would be way worse for Draymond in the Stern era. That Draymond would already be out of the league. They go, we'd probably already be celebrating the reinstatement of him after a year because Stern so didn't deal with that shit. So, but so you got before we'll get to this before we get to our guests and all that stuff. Anything? You got any shows this weekend you want to kind of plug or talk about? Anything going on?
So I do, and this is our first mini POS story. Yesterday, I'm scrolling through Instagram as you do, watching people's stories. And friend of the show, we actually even talked about him on Wednesday, Manny Santiago, had posted a flyer of the show, and me being a supportive friend, hit him with that fire react, right?
Yeah, like Indians do on hot women.
On their wives, on their unbridled wives or whatever.
No, I meant emoji as well, not really giving them fire. I didn't mean they were putting him in that clay pot with their chicken curry. I meant like, Indian men always put the emoji underneath women going, show me your bobs and vagine, beautiful woman.
Yeah, I know. Same idea. The difference is only Manny can see this. And he responds to me with, thanks, man. Next message. The boys are back in town.
Oh, no.
And I went, that's kind of weird.
I hate that.
Like, why would he say that? And then I look at the flyer again, and guess who else is on the flyer but me? I have a show tonight.
Wait, you didn't know?
So a mutual friend booked me on it, and I never heard back, so I wasn't sure 100%. But I'm glad I saw that flyer.
So wait, you didn't even know you had to go travel home?
I mean, I knew I was going home because I got this fucking wedding for my cunt cousin's on
Okay,
Saturday.
so you probably booked it to have something to do while you were there.
Exactly, and I got to drive to Ohio. But who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Manny for using "the boys are back in town" as his lingo? Is it me for agreeing to do a show I didn't know I had? Is it me for telling Manny, why would you say the boys are back in town? And he was like, because we're on the show together, you weirdo. Pat, we'll kick it to you first, and then we could even kick this to our special guest if he was listening, because he's from that area.
Well, let's not call him special yet. That builds it up. But anyway, he's just a guest. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. But our show, we don't ever want to call anyone special because that usually means retarded. So we don't want to do that at all. Yeah,
haha, not
yeah.
yeah.
Right. Is that the new version of the? What kind of Indian is he?
Yeah, is he?
Oh no, or woo woo? Like now, he's yeah. Now,
Yeah, exactly.
mornings. Fish missing a fire one. All right.
We came out
It's not.
swinging
It's
with drum
not.
pitches and fires, and we're doing to start the
Yes.
morning.
It's definitely not you. You are not the piece of shit in this. That happens. I've had so many pencil that in shits. And so you kind of like, I mean, I guess I usually look at that, especially when someone offers something else and go, hey, is this really happening? But if you were like, I'm already going fucking home. If I'm gonna hate my life anyway, so I'll probably just swing by that show, even though I'm not on it, to see my friends since the boy is back in town. Then maybe you didn't confirm it, or maybe it just slipped off the top of your head. You would think the guy would do a little more promotion, and you would have seen the flyer with you being tagged in it way sooner than now. But it's not your fault for not seeing that. You've got other shit going on. You know what I mean? You're gonna be in Minnesota in a couple weeks with Aaron Berg. You got a lot of big things. You don't have little things. You're not worried about bullshit town and going home too. You go home all the time. What the fuck?
And I gotta tell you, I'm gonna be enforcing JUSTICE when I am in Minnesota.
Nice. Now,
Hey, you
have the
passing a
Minnesota
fake
has to.
20? Get on the ground so I can kneel on you.
Oh no. I don't know if you've heard that hasn't worked out for everyone.
Somebody play the
people-
national anthem so they can't get mad. You know who I mean when I say they.
Jesus Christ. The sorry, you just got weird visuals and got thrown off. It's not the people promoting the show either. Yeah, they should have said to you, "Hey, you're on the show. Do you remember?" But it's when you said boys and make it plural, it makes me sound like it might be not a showcase, but at least a couple people on a show. So they're like, we have a bunch of people coming. If one doesn't show up, that's fine. Like, you know what I mean? It's probably not a lot of money. It's probably just the stage time and good times, whatever it is. Even if it is, if you're like the headliner and you're like, I getting paid and they don't know you're going, you haven't got confirmation, then that's them, but it doesn't sound like that.
No,
It's Manny.
it's
Right. It's Manny. And we love Manny, and Manny's great. Manny's cool. Manny's done cool shit. He's fucking juggler. He's the only guy I know I've ever met that was a juggler who I didn't hate. You know what I mean? Manny does cool skateboard stuff. Manny even had a kid cool. Like, as a Latino, to know it and stay with it, that's fucking cool. They don't do that. That's pretty great. Good, funny comic. Loves anime. He's one of the few guys I can talk about as an old white guy knowing about anime and stuff like that. What I'm saying is he's too cool and there's no too many references to quote the worst fucking song of all goddamn times. The stupid fucking gay ass boys are back in town. Fuck that song. You guys are all way better than the people that go back there and bother a lady and do all that. And who else are the fucking boys? Because that's my question, Bobby. Who else are the boys? Because if every other boy normally performs in that area, then just one boy is back in fucking town. The other boys were already in fucking town. And that's you, Bobby. It's Bobby coming back. It should be about you coming back, not about all the boys who are there anyway.
Fair point, but you did say Manny is Hispanic. And perhaps he was.
I didn't only say that. That is also true.
Yeah, you alleged.
It wasn't an insult.
You accused Manny of being Hispanic. You were like, we might have to throw him up in those chambers. But no, he was probably just trying to do the white guy reference. Like, what will Bobby get here? Because, well, yes, Manny does have a plethora of things he could reference. That is a very overplayed song, Teresa. And thank you. I will look into the freestyle box. But
She'll comment a lot, Bobby. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just checking in with everybody. But what was I gonna say?
Teresa knows that song because Teresa's a big listener of WPLR, so of course we hear that song all the time.
Which one?
The boys are back in town is on a fucking loop. That was one of the few times I got in trouble because I made a post about that on the WPLR Facebook page on the station where I was like, what other song that even though people like it makes you nuts you think is the worst ever? No, you gotta take that down right now. We're gonna offend all the Thin Lizzy people. I go, that's the gayest sentence I've ever heard. I'm gonna offend the thin. You want us to become a younger station? Maybe we should be defending the Thin Lizzy people.
You should get some thick skin Lizzies.
They've played at bowling.
But so
more offended.
It's not Manny for that reason, but it is Manny in general because, like he said, he got me into anime. And the other day there was this giant bee in my room, and I knocked it to the floor, like with a towel several times, and it started running on the floor, not flying. And then I stomped on it, and I said out loud to myself in the room, "You fool! You only had the advantage when you were in the air." Like I was an anime character, so I need to stop watching anime. For me, the piece of shit in the story is it's probably me. I should have known I was on this gig. I should have been there. Or you could argue that it's Gettysburg in the North for making that battle take so long.
Oh no!
Like if they had just wrapped it up a little quicker, then we wouldn't care about this shitty thing. But the S in Boys in Town has joined the podcast because the third person he was talking about, the one, the only, the lovely Andrew Pollack, will be Andrew Pollack will be at the show.
Are you also on the Gettysburg show with me?
I believe I am. Yeah, I think I'm on that flyer. I believe I'm the second name on the side.
So like I got booked on it, and then like Lennon didn't tell me any details about the entire show until yesterday.
Pat, I would like to change my answer. Lennon is the piece of shit in this story because Lennon also booked me on the show and gave me no fucking details. So thank you for throwing him under the bus, Andrew. How are you, my man?
Lennon probably knows all you guys might not show up, so he just told about 12 of you to show up and hope 6 do.
And that's how the Harrisburg scene goes. Either 6 or 16 will show up.
In the Connecticut scene, you don't have to tell anyone. You just get a headliner, and a headliner in a showcase is like 15 minutes of okay material, and then you just say it's a show somewhere, and then 38 of them show up and beg for 6 minutes, and they can only do 3. That's a show.
That explains how Avery's a headliner.
Yeah. No, Avery's still waiting for the time. Avery's not doing the 15 yet.
Nah. What really sucks, especially in this area, is like after Bill Burr drops a special, you get like 50 middle-aged white men that just want to say a bunch of racist things going, I'm edgy, look at me.
I don't know about you guys, but after Cat Williams, our couple of black guys in Connecticut were really letting people know how they feel. So that was a tough time too.
The issue we have in our scene is the black guys are whiter than the white guys.
Yeah, we've had them on.
Yeah, the black guys are out there doing the Bill Burr, and the white guys are trying to be the Cat Williams in Harrisburg.
You open up for a black guy who has the whitest name I've ever heard in my life, Earl David Reed. That's 3 names of somebody who's going to shoot you in a theater.
Yeah, except for somehow he has the most street cred when he walks into the Comedy Zone because the other black dudes are Damien and.
Well, because he's also on the radio. He can talk shit about you like Cat Williams. You give those guys a microphone, you're in trouble.
Speaking of Earl David Reed, Andrew, you recently just won his contest. We talked a little bit about it on Wednesday. Congratulations. I was supposed to judge Saturday. I would have chosen you regardless.
I got to correct you on that. I won 2 of his contests last weekend.
Hell yeah, dude.
What kind of contest was it?
So it was 2 rounds, 5 minutes. After the first round, like 5 people moved on. Then we did another 5, and then crowd picked the winner.
Oh, so one night, not like a series of events, just a one night thing.
No, there are 2 nights. There are 2 different contests.
Right, 2 different ones. But like it wasn't like you had to go through a series, not like a bracket of comedy or anything like that.
No,
cool.
No.
All right.
Pat does you may have heard of this one, The Last Comics. Standing in Mohegan Sun. A lot of the PA guys get sucked into that contest, Andrew. So Pat's is like you 1 week they pick 2 winners, and then a month from then another round.
Well, it's worse than that, Bobby. They get about almost 200 people, and they have the first round. There's like 10 first rounds, and there's 4 people that move on each first round. Then it takes about the entire summer to get through this fucking thing. And I get to host it now because when you win, you can become an indentured servant and then you just get hired to host it afterwards. So years ago I won into a bunch of other people, but I'm the only guy from Connecticut ever to win it. So I am the only one like close enough to be there and host all these fucking things. And wonderful Manny's gonna be coming all the way down from Pennsylvania to Connecticut to be in this contest. And I was telling one of the managers last night, this guy was really funny, but man, if he has a bad 5 minute set, that's the saddest drive home. Like you just get all in the free, you don't even make it out of the first fucking round, and you have to go back and change your dumb baby. Like that's the worst day.
Hey! Some of us have taken that ride twice.
Okay? Yeah, you've never changed a dumb baby after.
Yeah, because I would just toss it out the window in Connecticut and go, "You're a Connecticut human now. You have no parents, and you're probably gonna be
enjoy more taxes, stupid baby," and just throw it out the window. But congratulations on your win. Are you a contest guy? Do you like doing them? Because I fucking hate contest. I hate when there's competition in comedy. We're not supposed to be against each other. I do my thing, you do your thing. Together, it's all a good show. It's a weird vibe for me when people are like, I hope that guy sucks, because that's not what we normally think, you know?
Well, I figured no matter what, we're always in some kind of contest with each other. There's only so many spots, only so many comedy shows, and only so many bookers. So we're all in some way or another competing against each other.
I guess, but I think there's way more. If you're looking small picture, but there are so many avenues and so many ways of doing things that there's only so many bookers, but they have so many shows. Like you might not get on that one show next month, but you'll get on another one. So I just look at it more like I'm just gonna be funny, and if that works, then people will find out that I'll get shit. So I don't even. I like to not think about what anyone else is getting because then that's what makes you go, oh, this guy got this dumb thing. But that guy's also sitting about you going, oh, that guy won a contest. Everyone's just jealous. I'm like, fuck it. Let's all just have fun, you know?
I understand that, but I don't exactly enjoy contests themselves. I think they're great, especially if you're like first starting out to get your like name out. I mainly just did this because I heard there was like a decent cash prize on both of them.
Yeah, like, that's usually why. If I've only done a couple in my life, and I've fortunately won them, everyone I've been on. But it was mostly because cash. I didn't care about like getting a spot on a thing or the networking. It was like, how much? Oh, that pays rent. Okay, I'll take that one. Nice.
So literally, like before doing the contest, I was planning on like taking a real big step back from comedy. I took second in Harrisburg Finance. I was like, all right, finally, I'm going to get some gigs out of this. Nothing came out of it. And I was just like, maybe it's time to like take a step back, focus on a real job. Then I got hit up by Earl David Reed's like, hey, you want to do these 2 contests? I was like, you know what? I'll do them, make some money, and that'll just be the end of it. But luckily, after winning both, I've gotten about 6 gigs out of it. So,
and then nice. Just to fill anybody who missed the Wednesday show in, pretty much what happened is you won the contest, and then what happened is what happens anytime somebody wins a contest.
Oh yeah, just to be clear for our listeners, you're all like, wait, you never do interviews or care about a fucking contest. Oh, don't worry, there's shit talk and there's problems. That's why we're doing this. We're not here to support Andrew and his talent. Fuck that. We're here to make sure we get shit talk involved. But anyway, go ahead.
Sorry, that one was good. But so basically, you won the contest. Everybody not involved or decided, I'm too busy to do the contest this night, then decides that if they had been there, you wouldn't have won the contest. So they talk shit. And you go, like, you could have come to the contest. You probably wouldn't have won. Like, I've seen you do your 5 minutes where we give you the light at 4 and you're on stage till 14 and everybody hates you. Like, you're not a good comedian. And then it becomes a little awkward. When I did the contest, they actually gave the worst and best trophies. So, like, they had the best comedian in Harrisburg, and then they voted who was the worst comedian in Harrisburg.
Who the fuck was doing that?
Somebody who doesn't do comedy anymore. Won
Holy
that trophy
shit.
When I did it. Yeah. So, like, there was a level of anger to it. But Earl actually pulled me aside. I was much greener than you were, Andrew, and was like, hey, you don't have enough feature time. So you could do the Wachovia Center with me and bomb for 15 of your 20, or you can come work for me for a while. And like, I took that route. And a lot of the guys who hated it aren't in the Harrisburg scene anymore. They're not doing comedy. They book fucking vineyards and underpay their comics and are busy being a redheaded cunt. But
Whoa, that might be specific.
I was waiting to see exactly how specific I had to be before Andrew reacted to that reference. But yeah. So I saw you going through the same thing. That's when I reached out to you and Glessner, because Glessner's a good friend of ours, and I get what you're going through, but don't stress about it, buddy. Go ahead, Pat. What do you got? You look like you got something important to say.
Well, no, I don't say. What I want to say is, because we can turn this into a POS story. So I guess what had happened, what I'm gathering, is Bobby, you kind of briefed me, and I saw Glessner, Andrew Glessner, friend of the show, and all that. And we asked Andrew to come on, but then he said, "Oh, actually, Andrew Pollack might come on." I'm like, "Cool." And
That's to be the
what
second
I guess
choice.
happened, what normally happens, I guess, for everyone listening there, is when you're in a contest or anything like that, even in regular shows, it's very hard in comedy, especially when you're younger, to not have a jealousy or just a feeling like no one's paying attention to you and they're paying to other people. And there's two routes to go in that. There's the one route where you just go, it's not my time. I shut my mouth. I can be mad, but it motivates me to work harder and do whatever. And then there's the one where it's like, kind of like when a girl won't go on a date with you when you're in high school. You're like, well, I could either just be quiet and move on, or I could yell about how much of a whore she is and tell everybody that she's a stupid slut, and I could have had her if I wanted to, and fuck that, and I probably fucked her anyway. And that usually never works out for that guy. But a lot of comics go in that I'm burning the whole town with me scenario. So it sounds like it was that. Some guy, not even in the contest, just wanted to let everyone know, hey, enjoy your win or your second place, but I would have won if I was there, which is insane, because then I could post, hey, if I lived in Harrisburg, I would have beat all you. I've been doing it 16 fucking years. Am I the champion now? And then Chris Rock can be like, hey guys, if I was in Harrisburg, I would have won it too. It's retarded to even go that route. So, but at the same time, if that's what that guy needs to motivate himself, then I guess that's what he fucking needs. I like that fucking Terry Nee just puts laughing at the Harrisburg scene. Anyway.
Actually, the Harrisburg scene's got some killers, but I think it's important to note, Pat, had you been in the contest, you would not have won. Because since you and Earl have both been doing Who Are These podcasts a bunch together, I've been a little worried about your friendship. So I told him you say the N-word a lot. You call him N-word Earl.
So am I opening for him soon?
No. But yeah, O'Donnell's pissed you're stealing his material.
Oh, no. That's a lot of references for people that are listening that have no idea who those people are. But it's, you're using a lot of last name like we're a softball team. And then O'Donnell came over and slapped Glessner on the ass. But and then the one black one, what, Damien? No, the other one. Anyway, so it's like I hate that I have all their playing cards. But anyway, so it becomes that thing. So like Bobby, if you don't mind, I'll present the piece of shit thing, since I don't, because I'd like you guys to really answer and chime in first, since I don't really know it. But no, real quick, then you're gonna have your time to say, is the piece of shit in this story Andrew Pollack for winning a contest and then speaking up afterwards and saying something after some guy was like, fuck you, I didn't get a win? Is it the guy who's like, hey, I could have won a fucking contest if I was there, fuck you guys, I'm better than everybody, he's being that way? It's everyone else who was in that contest who didn't do that. Now they don't stand out. Now after a contest, the only people are talking about are Pollack and this other fucking guy. All these other chumps kept their mouths shut, now they're not getting talked about at all. Is it the guy who put on a contest who used to give out last place trophies? Holy shit, if you want to start a fight with people, that's how you fucking do it. That's like doing a beauty pageant and putting in last place. That's wild. Going like, you're the hottest lady, you're Miss Argentina. Hey, Miss Ukraine, come here, you ugly. And throwing a thing on her head. That's the dumbest thing ever. Or is it Bobby for not going back every year and just winning because Earl would put him on it anyway because it would save him money? Who's the piece of shit in the story? Bobby, go first.
I mean, I'd like to remove myself from consideration because every year Earl does invite me and I go, nope, I'm 1 for 1. Why would I fuck with those odds?
Then you're not a piece of shit.
I go, no, thank you, sir. All I can do is hurt my winning percentage, and especially with some of the.
I've been invited to go back in the contest too. Never do it because it's like I won. It only makes things worse.
It's not Andrew. I mean, Andrew Pollack, to be clear, is a piece of shit. But in this particular story, he's not the piece of shit. You got to do comedy on the weekend. That's the goal at the end of the day. Everybody forgets. When we all first started doing comedy and you heard your buddy had a gig Friday and Saturday, you went, fucking the whole weekend? So you chose to do 2 contests because that's what we do. Sometimes it's a comedy contest where you might win cash. Sometimes it's an arranged fee. But at the end of the day, you're out there, little drummer boying it up. You're going, I'm going to let my skills decide how much I'm worth. And I'm glad you didn't quit. I wish I would have known you going through that because, like, we don't interact much when I stop into town, but you're one of the 3 funny guys at the Comedy Zone. So let the other host duke it out to decide who the other 2 are, but you know who they are. So for me, the piece of shit in this story is probably the people who put on the contest. Somehow, fucking America's Got Talent gets a pass every year. Like, despite being one of the shittiest contests, the same with American Idol, all while doing the same guys of no, the audience is choosing. Like, there definitely wasn't Earl, his security guard, and some dude named Brian all giving you guys a score and deciding who was the best and then saying, no, the audience chose. You know what I mean? Like, why do they get away with it? So for me, it's if you organize a comedy contest, either do it in a way where the audience doesn't know. Because if you did it and brought a bunch of your friends, Andrew, let's run that back. Andrew, pretend you had a bunch of friends and then you brought them to the show. They're going to cheer for you. So if you just run it like a showcase and there's a secret contest happening, like kind of like our friend Frank does, Pat, where he says it's a contest, but it's not treated. He's not like, oh, all right, these guys are up against each other. You know, here's the heavyweight. So for me, it's the guys who organize the contest that way.
All right, Andrew, who's the piece of shit? Is it you?
So I'm gonna add a little bit more evidence and details to this story. Real
It's not a court case. Okay. But yes,
Your Honor,
please
the
share if you want
testimony
to.
period has ended. I've already rendered my judgment. Go ahead, Andrew.
So I want to say I'm the piece of shit on this because it wasn't exactly what they said that pissed me off. It was who they were. These were comedians that were maybe like a year or two in. Like had like Michael Donald or Manny or Glessner said something, I probably would have just gone to them and probably like, hey, I didn't appreciate this. But like these were like guys like 1-2 years in, and my entire thing was, who the fuck are you to say anything compared to
who you think you are? Pollack is.
yes.
Not in that, but where's your proof that would have been the case? Like, where have you blown me out of the water where
Right.
you can sit there and say that would be the case? Like, you're just saying it because your mind tells you that because your life is somebody who thinks the whole world is your movie and you're the star and everyone else is NPCs. Fuck you. You could feel that way. That's fine. But Andrew, I disagree with you. If fucking Mike O'Donnell, who we love on the show, and I love Mike, he's hilarious. But Mike is a killer comic and been doing a long
Right.
time. If Mike O'Donnell said, if I was in that, and he was being serious, which he wouldn't have been, but let's just say he said, if I was in that, I would have fucking killed all you guys. Then you should really call him out. You fucking loser. We all looked up to you. You're mad that I once years ago you got to win shit and no older guy called you out.
Right.
You should be supporting me and you should be like, hey dude, now come on a show with me. I won those things and now grow like I did and build the community. So I actually don't mind a younger person doing it. If an older vet guy did it, that's super fucked up.
Also, it's important to note if Mike O'Donnell does do something, make sure he knows the whole story before you freak out on him. Like, make sure he has all the details
Very true.
involving why you're freaking out on him, or he might be like, why are you freaking out on me? I didn't even know you don't work there anymore.
Yeah, I guess that joke's for one people, but I was just saying veterans in general should never say anything, get involved in those things anyway. But a younger person doing it, I get it because they're still young. This is a real test of this person who said this. This is a real growing pains thing because now people are going to look at him like, what the fuck are you doing? Does he move on from this? Does he humble himself a little bit? Does he get better work ethic? Does he stop running his mouth? Where a year or two later, he's like, I remember when I was younger and I was stupid and you can laugh about it. I know those people that I now see and they go, hey, remember when I was new and I said this dumb shit and that dumb shit? My bad. I didn't get it. And it's like, nah, man, that's just growing pains of comedy. Or if he continues to be a dick, he'll just end up booking everything because that's usually what happens.
And he'll change his name to Gary. Gary.
Yeah, so I think the piece of shit. But Bobby, the piece of shit in this story is not people running the show. I know what you're saying with contests and all that stuff. And I get it. They get a negative connotation. I said I don't like being in them, but as a guy who used to also run comedy clubs and stuff, it's hard to get young comics stage time that isn't an open mic at first. I know everybody wants to do showcasing and get chance. Those shows usually stink because the audience doesn't want to watch people basically do the same thing they do at an open mic at a showcase. It's not as much different. So by putting something on where they can get their friends and family to give a fuck, you are giving them, it's not a bringer, but at the same time, you're like, I'm hoping they get behind it and they'll bring people. And then hopefully these younger comics will try to care a little more because now they want to win. And it gives you're putting a ribbon on a piece of shit. You know what I mean? You're like, it's newer people. It's not that great, but it's a contest. And someone, people like contests. We all do. We all like watching people fail. More like watching, you mentioned, AGT and things like that. We watch that for the people that are going to lose, not for who's going to. We don't care if the dancing puppies win. We want to see if a guy falls off that truck and trampoline shit or whatever. So you want to see the losers. That's why you would go. If I was just on a Sunday and wanted to go to a show, would I go to a regular showcase? No. Would I go to a contest to see people fail? Probably. So I get why they're putting it on, and they're giving you a chance at least to take their stage, because they could just put on something dumb. They could just hire a comic, put something. They're at least giving you a chance to be on their stage and do something. So they are utilizing their stage, and in a way, yeah, maybe you think they're using the comics, but you're using them too. You don't care about their well-being. You don't care if their bills are paid. You just want their stage time. So you guys are using each other. Welcome to comedy.
That do you ever think there was a mix-up on the set of AGT where they took the dancing dogs and they were supposed to go to AGT, but they ended up on the America's Next Top Chef set?
Yeah.
And then the Chinese guy was like, yes!
I'll be honest, I feel bad for those people that do like terrible, like that you actually get to see on TV, because from what again I've read, like they go through like multiple judges just to get to that final stage, just to like finally be told in front of everyone you suck after like all these judges pass them on, voting up their confidence. It makes it a little more enjoyable to watch, honestly.
I didn't know it.
No, but at the same time, though, those people are usually so pumped just to be in front of cameras, be on TV, that they don't really care. And they want to be able to tell you about the process. A loser loves that. A fucking loser likes to go, you don't know what it's like behind the scenes, buddy. You're standing back there with Nick Cannon or the other black guy, and you're like, oh, they're all asking you questions. And then you're like, you finally get to meet Simon Cowell. And you're like, wow, this is crazy. But I start thinking about it. I'm not performing for Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell's performing for me. And I was talking to the dancing dog earlier, and he felt the same way. It's like, no one gives a fuck. Like, I want to get a guy on one time, Bobby. He's a buddy of mine, Derek Santos, very funny comic. But we'll talk about Andrew State at a much higher level. Derek got, like, real hate for when he went on AGT. And then for the first time, Simon Cowell and people like that were calling out his act because they said it was too similar to Harlan Williams. But he was a younger comic that was doing this act, but it was weirder. And when he mentioned that, he kind of said he didn't know who he was, and he did know who he was. So he got like this hate for a while. And when he came back, people were giving him shit, but the guy was on fucking TV. So he went on TV, did a thing, got a credit, and now everyone's like, fuck you, because Simon Cowell didn't like you. So he had to like battle with that for a while. So it's crazy what those things can do and all the behind things, and it can make you nuts. So it's not even worth really being in it, but at the same time, it is worth it if you win or you get something or you get any kind of recognition. I'm sure you got some pussy from like at least like being on TV at once, so that kind of helps. Andrew, did you get any slaying and puss now because of the big win?
Oh yeah, like you win that Gettysburg contest, man, just the pussy comes flying in like no tomorrow. Civil War pussy, but pussy nonetheless.
You know what? It doesn't even matter which side they're on. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it matters. It matters to me. States' rights, motherfucker.
All right. Now, Andrew, just so you know, if you're going to hang with us the rest of the show, we'd love you to stay on. What we just did there is what we normally do. I'll bring up a story, so will Bobby. We'll present the story, and then we'll kick it around and find the piece of shit in the story. We'll give you options, but you can bring up your own option and do anything you want. They're just fun, stupid stories.
Absolutely, sounds fun.
Cool. So if you don't mind doing that. All right, Bobby, you got something first? You want me to go first?
I can go first if you prefer.
No, I'll throw one in because that was technically your story, so that's cool.
That's kind of what I figured,
yeah. Yeah. Why Alec Baldwin blatantly called Paul McCartney an asshole? That's a New York Post story.
There goes one of my stories.
Is it really?
No, I'm just teasing.
Okay, Jesus Christ. Alec Baldwin doesn't like a show-off. The 30 Rock actor, 66, revealed that he took a yoga class with Paul McCartney, 81, in Los Angeles years ago. And he called the musician an asshole because the musician was so good at yoga, which, first of all, is the gayest sentence I've ever heard. He would do a handstand or a headstand, and he had the most little lithe body you've ever seen. And back then, he was like in his late 60s. He was so fit. By the way, This was all said and quoted on the Paul Anka podcast. Did you know there was a Paul Anka podcast, Bobby?
No, is that Paul Harvey's trans name?
No, Paul Anka is like, he was popular in the times of Tony Bennett and shit like that. So he's like 1,000. And Alec Baldwin went on that podcast. So you know,
And
Baldwin's
now you've
career.
seen the rest of my cock.
How my ball turns. Baldwin recalled how he mouthed off to McCartney after the Beatles legend did a headstand. Then he told Baldwin that he was leaving the class to take one of his daughters to lunch. I looked at him and I said, after he did his headstand, and I went, you know what? You're an asshole. And I never thought I'd call one of the Beatles an asshole. And he was just showing off with his little skills. He's all fit and stuff. Baldwin revealed that the other male celebrities took the yoga class with them, including Lorne Michaels of Saturday Night Live. However, McCartney outshined everyone in the yoga class. And then later in the podcast, Baldwin confirmed that he and his family, which include his wife Valeria, are moving to Vermont. And I'm like, okay, why is that in this article? And then it goes, Baldwin is still dealing with his criminal case in New Mexico, where he's facing a charge in the fatal shooting of Helena Hutchins on that movie Rust. And then it goes all into that court case about the other woman that got in trouble. So who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it Alec Baldwin for going on the Paul Anka podcast and thinking a fun story is saying, you know that beloved guy you all love, the Beatles guy, the one, few ones that are alive and stuff? Well, I think he's an asshole because he was fit when he was older. Is it Paul McCartney for not talking more shit about it? Just going, all right, thank you very much. I have to go pick up my kids now. Like, how old are your fucking kids? You're in your 60s. Why can't your kids drive? Is it the kids of the mother that had one leg? Where the fuck are you going? Is it the Post for writing this article when all they really wanted to do is tell you two things? Alec Baldwin's going in hiding. That's why he's going to fucking Vermont. And also, hey, in case you forgot, he might go to jail for a while. Because that's all that article's about. It's about 4 or 5 different paragraphs about the court case now that's coming up very soon. Not much about, hey, when we did yoga with Lord Michaels and Paul. Sounds like the lamest bunch of fucking white people I've ever heard in my life anyway. Lord Michaels, Paul McCartney, and Alec Baldwin stretching. That room must smell like a goat's asshole. Like, that's got to be the grossest smell of sweat. That poor instructor, who you know was a young woman who was just getting sexually harassed by the three of them. That had to be insane. Or is it yoga? Fuck you, gay. Who's the piece of shit in the story? Bobby, go first.
What was that? Yoga for those with osteoporosis?
Yoga-porosis?
If you're on that drug that makes you go to the bathroom less because you have to pee all the time, boy, do we have a yoga class for you. For me, the piece of shit in this story is clearly Baldwin. Doing a headstand makes you an asshole?
Kind of, dude. Remember when you were younger, you would be at a sporting event and some kid would just like, you're playing Little League and the kid would do a cartwheel. You're like, fuck this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but a
fuck
headstand.
you. You don't need to do a cartwheel.
Yeah, but a headstand's easy. Hey, watch this, Alex Baldwin. I'm going to be an asshole right now. I can go do a
headstand's easy?
Yeah, I'll go do one right now.
Pollock, do a headstand right now. Is it easy?
Listen, my floors are only so reinforced.
Right, but only a straight up and down, dude. I can't do. I can lean against. Oh, is Bobby gonna do it? Bobby, do it. No, you can't lean on shit. You can't lean on shit. Here he goes. Here he goes. Yeah! This is the worst podcast of all times. Right now, there's some guy like in Europe jerking off. He's like, finally, what I've been looking for. A hobbit who can stand on his head. Hey, Scott Fitzpatrick, thanks for chiming in right there. How'd you like that shit? By the way, Bobby, I hope you can hear us. We were cheering you on. That was fucking great.
I heard you cheering. That was when I know I had nailed it.
Because we were like, there's no way. And I'm like, somewhere in Europe right now, some guy jerking off going, finally, it's the content I want. A guy doing headstands as 2 other men watch.
Cheer him on.
By the way, Bobby, guess what? I just watched that, and me and Andrew agree. You're an asshole. So Alec Baldwin's right.
Well, we've done, you know what that's called? Fucking scientific theory. We had a hypothesis. We did an experiment. Now we've got results. Andrew suggests some further research.
So, Bobby, who is the piece of shit?
Baldwin. Just learn how to do a head. I'm fucking so out of shape. I'm winded, but I just did a headstand. It's not fucking rocket science. Pollock, I'll teach you tonight.
All right, Pollock, who's the piece of shit?
Of course it's Alec Baldwin, but here's the thing. It's not because of what he did. It's because he's Alec fucking Baldwin. He's the asshole in every story, all right? He could run out of a building with orphans that the buildings on fire, and I'll just be like, how dare he make those children continue to live parentless lives? That fucking asshole.
He is, but that's why I don't think it's Alec Baldwin, because he is always an asshole. If Alec Baldwin just went to yoga, I'd be disappointed. You know what I mean? It'd be like, by the way, dude, Scott Fitzpatrick. I'm just in time and I don't live in Europe. You're welcome, buddy. I'm happy you can jerk off.
How many points you score?
Oh, so many. You know what, Bobby, is that now I get the game. It took that. But I don't think Alec Baldwin is the piece of shit because that's what he's supposed to do. If Alec Baldwin didn't call someone an asshole at yoga, then why is Alec Baldwin at yoga? You know what I mean? Alec Baldwin shoots people and blames other people. Alec Baldwin calls his daughter a fat pig and makes noises. Alec Baldwin's always an asshole wherever he goes. So of course he has to do that. It's not Paul McCartney. He's English. He's old. They like yoga. He goes, oh, I can do things. He's just showing off. He's always been allowed to show off. He's been chased by women and been screaming. He started about Beatlemania. So he doesn't know how to not be over the top and crazy. It's Lorne Michaels. Lorne Michaels, your show, no one gives a shit unless you have a hot chick with big tits on or Shane Gillis in the last 10 years. You just watched this a couple years ago. You need ratings. You need someone to watch. And you could have Paul McCartney be the musical guest, Alec Baldwin be the fucking actor, and have them come out and react that scene where you're in it. It'd be so funny to watch Paul McCartney do headstands on there while Alec Baldwin holds a gun and pretends to shoot him because he tied the two things in together. That'd be a great fucking sketch. And then Lorne Michaels sitting there just watching. You wouldn't even need Pete Davidson or anybody who sucks in the thing. You could just have that one sketch and everybody be talking about it. You have fucking material in front. He never takes advantage of shit in front of him. He always goes for the losers. Instead of have Fred Armisen pretend to do stretches and fuck a goat or something. No one gives a fuck. So the piece of shit's Lorne Michaels. Go fuck yourself.
He's trying to. That's why he's doing yoga.
Oh, God damn it.
Like, why else would you do yoga?
God damn it, Bobby. Don't tie it up in a nice bow like that. Fuck you.
So sometimes my only concern with that sketch is sometimes when you're like on air or live and you go to do a headstand right before your head touches the ground, you go, all right, God, it's been several years since I've done this. Let's make a deal. It doesn't
That
have
makes
to
it
be
better.
pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty, God. Let's just make this work.
Okay. That white woke audience at fucking Saturday Night Live, if he even just puts his hands on the ground, they're going to go, yay! You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to care anyway. But, dude, if Paul McCartney fell and then got hurt live on TV, that's the greatest TV of all times.
But he's grabbing his knee, right? Like he acts like he hurt his knee, and then they just pull his leg off, and it reveals it was Heather Mills the whole time.
Oh, no, just Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
Or, dude, as he's upside down, someone runs in with a mask on and hits him in the stomach and kills him because his organs can't take it, and he pulls it off, and it's Ringo. He's like, last Beatle standing. Like, that'd be amazing.
I had to pay my dues. Now
Yeah.
I can sing the blues.
Oh, it's fucking nuts. Bobby, you got one?
I do. Would you like to hear about sports or about medicine?
Sports.
You're our guest, Andrew. What do you want?
Let's go sports.
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you. Because
I know more about that world than medicine.
Yeah. Ew.
Well, unfortunately, it's less of an American sport. Do you guys remember the World Cup from a couple World Cups
The
ago?
soccer one or the yachting one?
Soccer.
All right.
When the
Yeah,
United
remember.
States played England in the cup in the group of death, and with about like 5 minutes to
Group of
play,
death?
that's what they called it because everybody was so good.
Oh.
So basically, the way the World Cup works, if you're not a
Was
soccer,
that Andrew Pollack's group in the was that the group you were in when you won the contest? The group of death?
No, more like group of comatose, but that's about
I like it.
but in this so tough group, the way soccer works, if you don't know, is there's a round robin. Two of the teams from that group move on to an elimination style, single elimination tournament. So the group of death was like Spain or no, Portugal, and maybe both, but like two really good teams, us and England. And with about 5 minutes left to go in our game versus England, our guy took a shot and the goalie let it go right between his legs. It's one of the ugliest goals I've ever seen given up. A lot of people criticized him. Well, like athletes are known to do, he was recently on a podcast, and Robert Green, the goalie who allowed Clint Dempsey to score, gave some of the reasoning why. English goalie Robert Green is making headlines for all the wrong reasons after a shocking confession following a 2-decade-old match against the United States. Green admitted to intentionally allowing the American star Clint Dempsey to score the equalizing goal, and his reason is downright appalling. According to Green, he let Dempsey score because of pure racism, saying at least another white team would move on. And where's their other quote? I thought, why not yet let the Yank have one? It's not like they understand real football anyway. He
Bobby,
even
real
went
quick,
on to,
Bobby, I was gonna say I got nervous when you paused to say what's the other quote as a racist guy. I'm like, please don't say what I think he said out loud. Oh, and also, by the way, beep. It's like, oh shit, all right. He did hard R and everything in that quote. That's fun.
he went on to call it unnatural and amusing to watch an American score like a dog or like a cat barking was the other quote. Needless to say, the comments have sparked outrage across the soccer community. The EFA, which is the English Football Association, is scrambling to contain the damage, issuing swift apologies, and players alike condemning Green's blatantly racist remarks. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Robert Green for letting the other white team score a goal so they could try to move on? Is it the rest of the groups? Because if you're the group of death, it shouldn't have mattered if we tied England. Is it the soccer community? Like, because as far as racism goes, that's not that bad in the soccer community. Like, there are stadiums in Russia that aren't allowed to have players because anytime a black guy got on the field, they would throw bananas at him. The bar for racism in soccer is set very, very high. Or is it the United States? Because we let a guy named Clint go down in history as the one who scored the goal. All right, Terry. Really taking any of the context and nuance out of that. And he would have spelled it with a U, Terry, because he's British. Pat, we're going to...
By the way, just so you know, for Terry's defense, that's what you call people from Colorado. The Coloreds. That's what he's saying. He's not saying coloreds. He's saying the Coloreds. That's what they're from Colorado, right? You're right, Terry. Take that, YouTube.
Pat, we're going to kick it to you first. Give Andrew a few seconds to process what just went down. Who's the piece of shit?
It's weird, Bobby. I don't know if you meant to do this, but this story ties into our theme today. Somebody who doesn't want to say why they lost, kind of years later, yells and blames other things for the reason why they didn't get a win. Robert Green sounds like he would also be in a contest with Andrew Pollack. And he'd be like, you know what? I could have won that, but racism's cool, so I let the white guy win because I wanted to do it. Robert Green, you fucking suck. Like, you didn't win, so now you want to come back later and go, oh, I was hoping to just to make everyone mad and upset. No, dude, you just fucked up. First of all, who gives a fuck years later? Calling it what'd you call it, the circle of death, where the fuck it is? Or the group of death, the death group? We just talked at the beginning of this podcast about how we think the Western Conference is pretty stacked. You thought the Eastern Conference was pretty stacked. Both saying they're very powerful. They have a lot of good teams there. Is the NBA calling them the groups of death? No, they're just saying it's the NBA. You know why? Because it's watchable. We don't have to say things are of death. There's nothing in soccer that's death. You kick a ball and you take a nap sometimes. There's no death. You know what you need in soccer? More racism. I'll watch it if you have the Klan versus an African tribe. I will watch that game all fucking day. They're back there. You have people who want to enslave people for slaves playing, and the winner gets to choose what happens. That I would watch that soccer way more.
The only reason why I watch India, Pakistan play cricket. Same odds, same stakes.
I watch it to see if they'll actually shit on that field, too. It's like, oh my God, do they know toilets exist? Fuck you, India. Take a shit in the toilet one goddamn time. You have toilets here. I know that you use them as your bedrooms and offices in your convenience store, but still use them. But the piece of shit in the story is fucking Robert Green for lying. That's not what happened. Dude, he scored on you. And by the way, Clint did get some. I remember that name. I know shit about soccer, but I remember that name because it was a big deal because of what happened. But at the same time, to years later still be bothered by it, let it fucking go. You know what I mean? Like in other sports all the time, when a big moment when there's a failure and thing, Bill Buckner never blamed everybody else or said, I let the ball go through my legs in 1986 because of racism. Like, I fucked up. You know what I mean? A thing went through my legs. It's fucking what sports is. It fucking happens. You know, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, First of all, who gives a shit? And now we're still going back and having an interview. Like, we just talked about another old shitty podcast thing. Fucking Alec Baldwin yelling about headstands from 20 years ago. But that was more exciting, and I cared more about that than I did about Robert Green pretending why he didn't do well at goalie one day.
I bet you that dude who let the ball go through said the thing you thought I was going to say Robert said. Andrew, who's your
Yeah, because Mookie Wilson hit the ball. So, yeah. It's like,
yeah.
There's no more N-word than Mookie Wilson. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. And his son, Mookie Betts. You're up, Pollack. Yes, sir.
All right, so right now the asshole is Bobby for tempting me with talking about sports, and here I am fucking talking about soccer now. Fucking hell.
Yeah, that's why I let you choose. It's always that shit. You want sports? Here's cricket. Like, fuck off. It's not sports.
You might not know this, Pollack. We're the number one podcast about the WNBA right now, so it could have been worse.
Fine, but like I just hate like those fucking tea drinking British assholes. They're like, we're the first football. Like, okay, and the Wright brothers built the first plane. Doesn't make it better than what ours is right now. I fucking hate your sport so much. You bunch of jogging, ball kicking assholes.
Yeah.
Well, who's the piece of shit?
Whoever wrote the fucking article, that's the piece of shit. Who cares if racism won white people something? Good for us. We're still on top. Way to go, everybody.
Well, I will say, yes, we are the WNBA podcast. I think it's funny that Pollack called me a piece of shit twice in this story now. Because initially, and then as the guy who wrote this article, I guess I'm doubly the piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because the true story...
Just so you know, Andrew, Bobby makes up one every show. So, I knew it wasn't real right away.
Well, the true story is, and this one actually has a bit of an Oliver twist in it, because the true story is... Robert Green came out and was like, ever since I let that goal in, my life has been absolute hell. I wake up every morning and think about killing myself.
Well, yeah, you play soccer, you should.
I was just like, it'd be funny if you blame racism.
Morning, Stormy.
Morning, Stormy. Welcome aboard.
Bobby, who's piece of shit? You?
Yeah, for taking Robert Green's tragedy and trying to inject a bit of humor into it. Anybody who does that's a real.
Yeah, but yesterday we did that with Brittany Griner. If you didn't see it, go over to the Patreon. The Tuesday and Thursday shows that you guys all missed are over there, so go watch them. They're over on the Patreon. Thank you, by the way, our big fan. I don't want to say who it really is, but the great Ernie Banks for really being a great commenter yesterday. But jump on over and check out the Tuesday and Thursday POS morning shows over on the Patreon. It's a little $3 a month to join. But let me see. What do I want here? Okay. I will help you out here, Andrew. I'll let you choose again as our guest. You can either have Nazis.
Wait. We got to give Andrew. Andrew's been given the official test by Scott. He's been welcomed as a member of the podcast.
Okay. I'm sorry. I did not see it. Let me post it up.
That's what I didn't mean. No. I just know how much you're a fan of this question.
So, Andrew, if you had a monkey on your back, would you leave it or would you beat it off?
Can I beat it off, then leave it?
Scott, you have to get back. I don't know if that's an answer you ever had before. Scott goes on every podcast, does this. If you share it, then he shares it on a podcast he's on. He has a collection of comedians answering this question, and now you've entered it. And if you thought you were wasting your life, Andrew, don't worry. There's Scott.
Appreciate you,
love
Scott.
you, Scott. I'm kidding. You're the best. So, all right, they're having their own conversation. I don't care about that. So yes. So Andrew, you get ice cream, Nazis, or Robert De Niro. What do you want?
Let's go Robert De Niro.
Okay, good. Thank you for not choosing Nazis. You know what I mean? You're a good guy. It's fun. Don't worry, we'll get there.
It's why you didn't ask me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You stop talking. Ice cream, Nazis. Those are my favorite. Dude, imagine if they put the ice cream truck song on the trains for Auschwitz. That'd be so fucked up because they would just run out of the concentration camp like, yay, they got me again. That'd be way worse than just killing your family. Thinking you're getting a snow cone is the fucking worst. And instead, you get a tattoo with your number now. That's your name.
I think it'd be worse if an ice cream truck just drove around Auschwitz all the time during the concentration camps.
Because the Jews would have to choose between starving or overpaying for ice cream. They're like, I don't know. Boy, I don't know what's worse.
But Bobby, it's like a clueless guy, like it's this Mexican guy who doesn't know that it's a concentration camp, and he's like, "But there's so many people there. Why weren't they coming out?" Like he's just parked there. He's like, these assholes don't come out and buy ice cream. Like it's fucking nuts. I should be killing it.
They keep taking showers. I don't know why.
Yeah, they're so clean. They've got time.
fucking racist ass puntas take a shower every time I drive my ice cream truck through. I'm not that dirty. I'm not a dirty Mexican.
They look so hungry. Scott says the monkey is homosexual.
I don't think that
So,
matters.
Andrew-
But okay.
Yeah, Andrew's an open-minded guy. Scott, how dare you? And by the way, he's not homosexual, Scott, because he's a monkey. Like, he might be monkey sexual, but he doesn't like. That would mean he likes gay men. He's not a man. He's a monkey. I know some think we evolved from that, and some racists think we still are that sometimes. But no, a monkey would have to be gay for another monkey. He'd be chimpasexual or something.
I was gonna say I dated a girl who was a real monkey sexual. It became a problem.
Oh, no. And you weren't fat enough to keep her?
She was plenty fat for the both of us.
Nice. All right. Grandma thought she was texting with Robert De Niro, but her granddaughter saw through the scam. I couldn't stop laughing, the daughter said. He made an offer she almost couldn't refuse. A savvy granddaughter saved her grandma from divulging sensitive information to a scammer posting online as Robert De Niro. Gina Morgan, a 76-year-old South Wales woman in the United Kingdom, got into a lengthy chit-chat on Facebook with someone posing as the Godfather Part 2 star. She didn't seem to be fazed by the red carpet and other photos he sent, that the username was Robert De Niro page, or that he was trying to peddle membership cards, not unlike a scam that might have been pulled off by the actor's character Jimmy Conway in Goodfellas. This is not Robert De Niro, her granddaughter kept shouting in the video. Well, then who is it then, Morgan said. Which, by the way, is a good point. Turns out the scammers were trying to get to the senior citizen to shell out $500 for a VIP fan card that would falsely promise every access to the Don, video chats, phone calls, and even a visit from the new father, according to Caters. There are 3 types of membership cards. I can connect you to my manager about getting one. Rich, however, feels that even if she hadn't intervened, her grandma would have sharpened up in time before any damage was done. Morgan was skeptical of De Niro's tuxedo photos, after all. Some people online were concerned about her, but my Nan's smart enough not to give out her any personal details. Nan was showing me the messages on Facebook from a fake Robert De Niro profile, and I couldn't stop laughing. While the instance had a happy ending, romance and cyber scams surged in tandem with the rise of high-powered artificial intelligence. Often the elderly are prime targets. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Grandma for thinking Robert De Niro, and his name being Robert De Niro Facebook page, is trying to message people to get fucking memberships to his fucking Love Me from a movie from 40 years ago? Is it fucking anyone who's doing that scam? I get it. You're trying to relate to old people. That's like when a young comic sees an older audience and goes, I better do jokes about like Three's Company. I think that's a show they liked. Like, don't think you know what old people like. What if she doesn't like The Godfather? She's also from Wales. She's not an Italian woman. So, like, why would she care? Why not do do a Princess Diana page? She's that stupid. She might think Princess Diana's really alive. She goes, I've heard the conspiracies. Maybe she's got a fan page now. Is the granddaughter for letting her do it? You know what, Grandma? Learn your lesson. I would have made Grandma cough up the money, get scammed, and tell her, fuck you. That's for not giving me money years ago when I wanted it to go to a amusement park or something. Fuck you. Robert De Niro ripped you off. You're a piece of shit. Or is it this article for going, by the way, it's really good that it worked out, but just watch out, old people. There's fucking AI scams. They know. We don't stop telling them. Cut the shit, Grandma. Get the fuck off in social media. You're retarded. We always say it to them. They know. AI doesn't give a fuck. It's not AI's fault. Don't blame AI. That was some idiot who just said, I'm Robert De Niro fan page. Will you give me money and VIP access? Or is it the granddaughter for also thinking her grandma would have caught on? Grandma's dumb. She wasn't going to catch on. She's a woman raised in Europe. They're stupid as shit. Who's the piece of shit in the story? Andrew, go first.
It's the daughter for not minding her own fucking business right there. Like, maybe it was Robert De Niro. We don't know. Maybe like, maybe like Grandma could have like met Robert De Niro. They could have like fell in love, and like suddenly the granddaughter has like a new aunt. Like, I just think
Go ahead.
If you survived World War II just to get scammed by Robert Dinero fake later in life, you deserved it. Like,
Yeah. I would like that to be the thing they remembered about her when she died. Like she could have lived her whole life in her 80s, and then they're like, "Do you remember when she got scammed by Rob?" Like that would be fun for the family. It's still kind of fun because it did get covered in the paper. It's in the New York Post. This happened in South Wales, so it's international, which is hilarious. If your grandma did something dumb and it became international, that's hilarious for you and your friend. As a comic, you pray this happens, so you can really go on stage and people look it up and go, "Holy shit, is that really real?" Yeah, my grandma's so dumb. You think I'm dumb? Grandma almost got scammed by Robert De Niro on fucking Facebook. Then my whole family's dumb. And that'd be a good time to have that. But if she really did get scammed, dude, you would be no tears at the funeral. It'd be just laughter about how thank God that dumb bitch is gone, and you'd all laugh and you'd move on. Grandpa'd be like, "Yeah, I hated being married to that lady. She was retarded." So it'd be a lot of fun at the funeral. So you're right. She's dumb.
I'd like it to be the reason she dies. Like I'd like like
what I want to know is like,
we could have got past the cancer, but Granny gave all that money to goddamn Bob De Niro's fan page.
So would she die because she took her own life in embarrassment, or because Grandpa killed her because she spent $500?
No. I'm hoping like it's a position where the cancer is operationable, but she needs 500 pounds, and she spent her last 500 quid on fucking
De Niro's fan page and not her chemo.
Yeah, exactly. Directly responsible because he was like, "My dick will cure that cancer" or whatever.
I just want to know like what kind of connections this granddaughter has to get the story published about her family members doing stupid shit. Because I need those fucking connections. I want to be able to blast people in my family on an international magazine on how fucking dumb they are, but I don't have that rich white privilege. Fuck her.
I didn't think about that at all. This means that the girl, because grandma couldn't do it, she had to go tell so many people. She was telling so many people, they're like, "You got to call a reporter." So, or what happened was they called the police. And they're not saying that, and maybe the police were like, "This is dumb," but they had to put it in the blotter. "We got to call today. There's a scammer out there." And we were like, "What scam?" And then reporters looked into that. I hope that's the case. I hope it wasn't the granddaughter going, "Fuck this. I'm telling everybody," and then reporters got involved.
I hope the story is that she went under some like editor's desk, gave him a blowjob just to tell her grandmother.
Guys,
to embarrass the shit out of her grandmother.
There's a clear third option we're missing. You know who's got a lot of ties to the media? Robert De Niro.
Oh.
And Robert De Niro. No, I mean, you're not wrong, but them and Robert De Niro. I think it was his actual page, and he was like, "This woman was going to get the experience of a lifetime," but somebody fucking, her daughter ran in and was like, no, you can't do that.
Robert De Niro just had a baby, good math. He needs the money.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Did I freeze? God damn it. I hate my thing. Yeah, I think the piece of shit, by the way,
I didn't say mine yet either, so you know.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were saying it right there. So you go ahead and do yours while I try not to freeze.
Yeah, I figured I'd buy you a little time. So for me, the first piece of shit's Pat for freezing and for doing a story about someone from Wales and not making a Wales joke about Pollack. Also descended from Wales. Yeah, I get it, buddy. But, you know, the second piece of shit is, so this happened before. What's his name? What's that Hawkeye's the guy who shoots stuff and then drive? Yeah, then he drove his snowplow and it ran him over. That awkward situation. He did this. He started his own app, a fan club where if you paid more money, you got more involved in his life. He was OnlyFans before OnlyFans. So maybe, like you said, he's having a kid. He could need it. But for me, the real piece of shit in this story is
Bobby. Real quick, I'm gonna duck out, duck back in. So you just do your thing.
Okay, he's gonna duck out, duck back in. For me, the piece of shit in this story would probably be the woman, not the daughter that blew her, like her husband, who was like, "Just let grandma go. It's $500. She'll be busy all day. Better to her talking to De Niro than me." So at this point, we'll wait for Pat to come back to give his piece of shit. But Give some plugs.
So you were saying something about like Jeremy Renner, like he asked for like money from the snowplow.
No. So that was a different thing, but he has his own app and fan club where like it's almost like those pay to play games on your phone where if you're like the base tier, you get to read Jeremy Renner's glorified tweets. Like there is inner thoughts, but there's tweets. Then like a little tier up, you get to tweet as well. Then a next tier, you get to be on his inner circle, like the thing on Instagram, and you get free access to some of his podcasts. And like basically the more you pay, the closer you get to this guy because he's huge and like Asian countries, they love him apparently. This is not a made up story either. This is 100% true. Because like when the snowplow thing happened, people were like, "Why?" It's tragic, but why do so many? And then they're like, "Oh shit, he's a cult leader."
I'm just like imagining Hawkeye begging for money right now.
Yeah, he's it's after the snap. He's that character that's just the assassin, and he's like, While we do this, do you have any gigs you want to plug coming up?
Oh well, we got Gettysburg coming up tonight. It's you, me, Manny, and Lennon, I think. Or is there anyone else?
There were a bunch of people on the flyer, but I'm not sure who all is actually going. It's the link.
I didn't even know there was a flyer. I had to ask him yesterday, like, when and where is this gig? If it's just happening.
The story I said at the beginning was 100% true. I thought I did not have a gig tonight until I saw Manny's post, and I'm glad I saw it because I'm happy to perform with you. I don't think other than the roast, we've never worked together, have we?
I don't think so, no.
Are you going to be working with Earl going further?
So part of the contest wins is I get 2 headlining shows.
Oh, nice. At that with Earl? Or
no. I don't know if Earl is going to be part of it or not.
Okay.
But basically, I get to headline 2 shows at one of each of the places I won the contest at.
I mean, that's sick. So when I did the contest, I was about like 3 years in. This was at the Comedy Zone. Earl put it on, and he was looking for a feature act for the Wachovia Center.
Okay.
And like nobody who had been doing comedy longer than 3 years showed up. So he pulled me aside and was like, "You can do this. I can give you the money, and you can bomb, or you can come work with me for free for a while, and like I'll get you in front of a bunch of people, and you can do as much time." So like, my guess would be he reaches out soon and invites you to do some spots with him. And if you don't have anything doing, it's worth it doing. You know, if you don't have anything better going on, for sure.
Sadly, I don't.
Yeah, no, I was in the same boat, and still, like we'll cross paths soon. In fact, if you want to see me with Earl, you could see me this Sunday. We are at the some creek inn. I'll get more details on that.
You know, like where, like the area?
Nope. Hang on, let me pull it up real quick. While we do that, the following week I'll be at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy in Minnesota, featuring for Aaron Berg. He has a new clip out on Instagram that one person on this podcast right now put a ton of work into to try to figure out and learn. So go ahead and do yourselves a favor and like and share that. Head over to our Patreon if you enjoyed if you enjoyed the over-the-counter therapy podcast we did. If you were one of those 12 lucky people. It's getting mixed down now. It's going to be like a real podcast, not just a bunch of people talking. We're mixing it into something. So that'll be out soon. And I finally got the Earl's page. So let me see if I can pull this up.
Well, let me just plug May 31st at Fratelli's. I'll be there.
Don't you plug Ron Kane's shit on this podcast. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Ron's the man.
So come out to Fratelli's, awesome. Check that out. I'll also be on his podcast with Damien Monday, so that episode should be coming out next Friday.
True.
I'm back, buddy.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I always like hearing the when I come back. It's like fuck.
No, I thought I missed a gig. I was trying to figure out where I was supposed to be Sunday, but we're good. Everything's good. Everything's peachy.
You don't seem to. I know before we blamed the promoting guy for your shows, but it seems like you don't know where the fuck you are unless someone tells you.
Sometimes, like the people I work for, just like are last minute people. So it'll be like the day of the gig, and they'll be like, "Oh, here's where you're supposed to be." Sorry. Welcome back, Pat.
No worries. Do you want me to do another one?
Absolutely.
You could do one, or I got one. Whatever you'd prefer.
Oh, then what are you doing? Go ahead. You go ahead.
So, let me pull up the story. Nurse sentenced to life in prison after admitting she intentionally gave patients excessive insulin doses, prosecutors say.
Nice. Yeah.
So this is our medicine story, obviously. A Pennsylvania nurse accused of killing 3 patients at skilled nursing facilities around the state and attempting to kill 19 other individuals in her care pleaded guilty Thursday and was sentenced to life in prison, according to a news release from Pennsylvania Attorney General Michelle Henry. There were so many words that could have stood alone in that end of that sentence that all added up into one name. So I guess basically this woman was going around trying to kill people by giving them insulin. Who's the piece of shit in this story?
Well, wait. We don't have any reason of why. What was her motive or anything?
Oh, yeah, I guess I could read more.
Like it kind of helps. Was she just doing it because she liked to kill people, or like were they all like one type of person? Did they all molest her at one point? Like, why was she killing all these people with insulin?
Is this just the plot of The Good Nurse from Netflix?
Good. Bobby does that. Sometimes he'll just make one up, or sometimes he'll just do plots from movies of Netflix. So it's like,
So no, she didn't give any reasoning, but she pleaded guilty to avoid the death penalty. She admitted to harming with the intent to kill the 19 patients.
good morning, Chris.
Yeah, this is just the plot of The Good Nurse, except it's a male nurse that actually did it.
Well, that's ridiculous. This is clearly reality, not the fiction world you live in where there are male nurses.
It was based off a real story about a male nurse who would like inject it was like penicillin or insulin into people's IV bags and like kill them. But apparently he was like a really good babysitter, so this nurse like defended him for a while.
They called that why didn't they call that Merce murders?
They should have called it. They should have called it hot injections, because that's all a fucking gay nurse is thinking about. Like, he's not giving insulin; he's just giving you hot jizz. That's all. When you fall asleep, you're gonna wake up Teabag Jones. You're gonna get a real bag, not an insulin bag, right inside you. Gay nurse. Anyway.
Yeah. So Presti, that's her name, often took steps to ensure her victims would expire prior to shift change, so that they wouldn't be sent to the hospital where her scheme could be discovered. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it the murdering nurse? Like, we get it. You work at prisons. Is it the nursing agency that's ironically called skilled nursing facilities? It should just be called skilled assassinations. Or is it...
I like that it keeps skilled in it. I thought it should be called skilled something else.
That said, 3 for 19. What is this, the bitch? The weatherman of the death penalty?
It should just be like a small lowercase s with killed.
That's fucking good. Make it a $sign, like, you pay us, we kill. So, is it Presti's lawyer who had her admit to killing all these people to avoid the death penalty? It's like, wait a second. This bitch seemed pretty in favor of it when she was judge, jury, and executioner. Now, all of a sudden, that she's on trial. Whoa. We'll do anything to get away from that? Or is it these men who let the nurses kill them? Andrew, I don't know if you know anybody who's on diabetes meds like insulin, but I know several, and they're very strong, large individuals. Like, they're not tiny folk. Patrice O'Neal is the first one that comes to mind. How are you letting a woman do this to you? Or is it her? If you're a nurse in a prison, you know what your job is. We've all seen the pornos. Go make them men feel good. Pat,
listen,
we'll get your guy first. Yeah.
When you're a guy my size, when a woman wants to do something to you, you just let it happen, because it's probably never going to happen again.
Good point, my man.
No, but I hate this nurse for fucking plagiarism, for taking what a male nurse did and just being like, I can do it better. Like, fuck you. I know we're in this like woke movement of like progressivism, but give men their credit. Two of the 3 weren't diabetic. Are you talking about like us or the victims?
The victims.
Okay.
Oh, fuck you. By the way, before when you were like, I'm surprised Pat didn't call Andrew Wales. It's not a full body shot. I thought he just had like Mike Keegan neck. If you know Mike, the same kind of thing where it's like you're not really that big of a guy. You just have a decent chub head. That's all.
Mike Keegan neck?
Yeah.
You know what's attached to Keegan's neck? Mike Keegan's body.
Yeah. By the way, I just said he had a neck. That's nice of me.
Yeah, he has 9 of them. Like his chins.
It's nice to know that you think I'm walking around like the fucking Kool-Aid man. Just like
Yes.
a big head and no body.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I won your contest. It's like, oh, thanks.
I once heard a comment go, if he wasn't fat, what would he even talk about? He doesn't sell tickets.
That wasn't me.
Nah, it
It
was
feels like something I would say, but it's not me.
Dave
I think
Chappelle's friend's brother.
Yeah. I think the piece of shit in this is, I don't know. It's tough. I feel like I need to know more about why. It's not your fault, but I feel like I need to know more about why, and we'll find that out in court cases years later or something like that, why she was doing it. Because if it was like an experiment, like let's say that she was like somebody who was trying to like make up her own kind of medicine and she massed his insulin to maybe bring back a zombie race where she thought maybe I could kill them and they'll come back to life, then that's dope. And you're like, oh, I get it now. They're prisoners. No one gives a fuck. You're giving them shit and that's fine. If she was doing it just to murder people, I guess that's also kind of cool because what do? We always highlight serial killers. We always have like last night at my show, I asked someone in the audience, it was a white woman by herself. I go, oh, you're a white woman by yourself. Who's your favorite serial killer? Because I'm sure you have one. And then she goes, Ted Bundy right away. And I'm like, yeah, you know what the answer is? I don't have one. Because you shouldn't have a favorite fucking murderer, you dumb bitch. But anyway, so the problem is women get so excited about this that they want to become it. This is a woman who thinks she's better than men. Because instead of just saying serial killing men are great and we can just adore them, she's like, I can do it better. Not really, bitch, because they wouldn't have to go to a prison where they're just laying there. Real serial killers go out work. They find their victims. They stalk. They care. They fucking build a whole story. They get a cool name like the Golden State Teabagger or whatever. They get awesome shit. Not some lady who's like, I'm skills. I'm a nurse. I use my job to lazy, stupid white women. That piece of shit is that lady. Go ahead.
I like how we have 2 different versions of women trying to be as good as a man.
Enough.
That's normally my take on most of these stories, Andrew. So
Yeah.
I'm proud of you both. As far as her being the angel of death, normally when you hear angel, you picture super sexy. This bitch looks like Slayer's angel of death.
Or a fat Latino. But either way.
This looks like the cow that Slayer slaughtered before singing Angel of Death. She is not a good-looking woman. So as far as stalking her victims, Pat, I don't think physically that was much of an option. I think they would have been able to outpace her by walking.
It's kind of hard to like sneak up on someone you're going fee fi fo fum.
Yeah. Speaking of Keegan, she kind of looks like Mike Keegan in a wig, if you had to put a good image on it. So for
But they're in jail, right? Did I hear that wrong? They're in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can't go anywhere. So that's an easy
What's her
stalk.
name? I want to like pull up a picture of her real quick.
It is.
It's spelled Lizzo.
Heather Presti, and let's ask Terry. Apparently, he's banging the broad.
Yeah, Terry knows a lot about this.
You know,
She
what
said
pisses
their
me off
quality of
about-
life was not good, so she took the company named literally. Oh no, he's doing a bit. That was fun.
Yeah, no, I know. I was just getting his comment thrown in there. I wanted to give him.
Terry Nee will always get comments in.
I know. For me, the piece of shit is the state of Pennsylvania. Why does everybody look like her? She looks like John Fetterman, and I think she just also wore a hoodie to work every day and probably had a stroke face.
You know what's funny? If you like
face.
If you like put up like a picture of her and a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer next to each other, when which one of these 2 serial killers ate people, 90% of people would be wrong.
Yeah, she does look like she ate people.
Oh, Terry said that wasn't a joke. That was literally a quote.
Oh, well.
Or he's doing that joke. That's what she said. Yeah.
Terry's from Pennsylvania like us. Pollack, so he may come to our show tonight in Gettysburg
Hey, don't say like us. I'm not you fucking trash.
at the Lincoln Social Club.
The real people will be at Twisted Vine and Derby. They fucking laughing with me and 12 pieces of shit. Anyway, go ahead.
If you had gone a different way after you said in real, I would have agreed with you.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think
Kish,
of all
kish,
of
kish.
Connecticut. What up, Kish? By coffee, he means marijuana.
Yeah.
Pat, do you have another story, or do you want me to do another story, or do you want to just?
No, I got
sweet,
fun. I got
passionate
plenty.
love?
I've got plenty.
You want to just make some love? We could do that.
Well, maybe you'll want to make love to some of these things. 5
Probably
skeletons without hands or feet dug up in ruins of Nazi headquarters that was going to Hermann Goring. Yep, they dug up some skeletons. None of the skeletons had hands or feet. 5 human skeletons with their hands and feet missing have been dug up from a Nazi headquarters. The remains, which include those of a newborn, were found during a dig inside the ruins of Wolfslayer, which had been Adolf Hitler's Eastern Command headquarters in Poland, according to archaeologists with the La Terra Foundation. The historical group first found a fragment of a skull on February 24th, then later unearthed the bodies of 3 adults, 1 teenager, and the baby, all thought to be members of the same
the
family.
baby? They got the baby?
Was there. They got the baby.
So the number is now 6,000,005, right?
Well, they went to show that, but they couldn't show the 5, so they just go, "Oh, my bad." We didn't. They got rid of them because they couldn't do this anymore. So they're like, "All right, you're out." We didn't expect something like that. Historian Octavan Baskabakabak, I don't give a fuck about his name, said the discovery shocked us and probably scarred us for life. He said it was crazy to find something like this after so long, given the masses of treasure hunters that scoured the site over the decades. A find like this gives you goosebumps, he said. Who's the piece of shit in the story? Is it archaeologists? Cut it out. Stop digging. Grow up. It's so stupid. It's I found shit from a long time ago. Anyone can if you have nothing to do, loser. And then you look at it and go, I'm going to make a story about what happened. Listen, in my life, I have a broken pinky from playing rugby. I broke my foot one time years ago in a car accident. There's all these things that happened to me. If you just found my bones, you're like, he was tortured. No, I'm just a loser. You would have thought that because of the breaks. You're just making up a stupid story all the fucking time. We don't know what happened there. Is it the archaeologists? Is it people, the scientists who found these things and said, oh, obviously these were tortured people? What if they were just a family of amputees? That could happen. I mean, when you 2 retards get together and they make a kid, they make a retard kid sometimes. And people without arms make a kid and fuck. Maybe the kid comes out without hands and feet. Or maybe the kid came out with hands and feet and the family was like, fuck this. You're not going to all be high and mighty with your digits. Chop, chop. And they did that. We don't know. Maybe they were just hanging out with Hitler. I get it. Not a good guy. I hear all that from everybody. Didn't do good stuff. But we can't tell from their bones that they're Jewish. I don't think Jewish people have different bones. I mean, according to some racists, they do. But in real life, they do not. So we don't know that. They could have just been people hanging out. And maybe one day they were playing that cool game. You know when you watch a movie and people are drinking in a bar a long time ago and they take that knife and they go like this? Maybe they were all doing that game and they all lost to Hitler and they cut their hands and feet off. We don't know what the fuck happened. Is it Nazis? You know what? Stop doing bad shit. Every time we hear about you guys, it's never good stuff. We never hear the pro stuff. You need a better PR group. I mean, Hitler's got a great PR. Every time someone's a bad guy, what happens? You go, oh, he's like Hitler. But no one goes, he's like that guy who cut off a family's arms and feet. Where's that guy's PR? That wasn't Hitler's job. There was a guy who did that. Who's the piece of shit in this? Or is it that family? Fuck you. All of you have no hands and feet. None of you could have stopped anybody. What the fuck? The baby couldn't help out? Someone yell. I get it. You can cut off a kid's hands and feet. But when adults fight harder, all your family just lost their hands and feet. Put in some effort. Use the hands and feet on the ground and beat people with those. I would never fight a guy who hit me with a baby's hands. I would be like, this guy's nuts. Get involved more. Give a shit about your family. Who's the piece of shit in the story? Andrew, go first.
I'm just thinking, how much of a Jew do you have to be for Hitler to roll up his sleeves and go, I got this one, boys. Let's get this to the
Yeah, he doesn't need anyone to take care of his easy work. He's like, no, this one's special.
He's like, it's time for me to get hands on.
Yeah. And then a guy named Hans On comes in. He's like, not you, Hans On. Not you. He's like, I thought it was me.
No, but I would say the archaeologists for like being surprised that there are dead bodies near Hitler's place. Like, of course there are. How are you going to be surprised at this point? Like, I would be surprised if there was like a cello buried under there. Like, holy shit, Hitler played the cello? Like, fuck.
Yeah, they're always looking for a treasure, and they're shocked when they find Jews. It's like, you might find some treasure, but that's not even your treasure. That was Jews' treasure. That's
Well, yeah, the treasure
That's
are the Jews we found along the way. Like that.
Yeah. The treasure is the memories we made. That's what it is.
What do you think those Jews died protecting?
Judy
Not
Gold.
that baby, I'll tell you that. Right.
Bobby.
So for me, it's not like, all right, come on. We all know the rabbit's foot brings luck. Like, what do you think a Jew foot keychain carries? It's got to be pretty fucking significant, right? You rub that, make some money, get some good tweets to go viral. So it's not whoever did that. I would also lean towards the archaeologist, but more for his approach of, this is the most horrific thing I've ever seen. It really affected me. Like, aren't you the guy researching the Holocaust? There's still skeletons. Like, for a lot of people, you know.
We thought we found the holy shit. There's more.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That's like when a mom cleans your room and she thought she found all the gross shit, and then she opens up another closet and then fucking old crusty socks. Fucking Jesus Christ! How much jerking off did you do? Just put it in the hamper. I get it. Why do I have to find it? I mean, there's more.
Yeah, he's like, turns out that whole cremation thing pretty efficient.
Dude, it's like when they were looking for Cosby rapist women, and they're like, dude, 78? How many more are we gonna find? Stop raping. When did you have time to make pudding pop commercials? There's so much rape. I can't believe we found more bones, and they're shocked. I can't believe they cut their hands and feet off. They burnt most of them. Those were the lucky ones. They got to keep most of their shit.
Yeah. Makes had to walk around being called Stumpy all the time.
Yeah. Oh, is that a tough thing? Well, Stumpenstein. They would call him something worse. Hey, Stumpberg.
Do you think Hitler was doing prop comedy? He was like, hey, what do you call a man with no hands and no feet at your door? You call him Matt. What do you call his wife when she's in the ocean? Bob.
Or do you think when people would come to his house, he would just go, as they're leaving, he'd go, oh, bye, and he'd wave their hand.
Oh, no.
And he's got his feet
driving.
He's got his feet up on something. He's like, what's that? Oh, that's my footrest. And you look, it's just a kid's foot.
Like that scene from, I don't know if you guys saw the It movie where it's like waving like the little child's.
Yes. Imagine if the It movie's like, Hitler stole our thing. It's like, no, dude, he was there first.
I'll say this, and like, if we ever make another movie about Hitler, I want Steve Harvey to play Hitler.
What, Steve Harvey?
Absolutely. I don't want them to like. I don't want him to do like an accent or anything. I just want him to be Steve Harvey saying Hitler shit.
Yes,
the Japanese did what? What are you doing? Starting another war for? You ain't finished with this one.
The montage of him just coming to learn to be anti-Semitic would be great. It would just be Jews doing things and just reactions clearly from Family Feud, where we went and posed and put the little fucking Hitler stash on him. What?
Wait, so, you trying to tell me they gone and took their hands? You telling me they gone and took their hands? Top 5 answers on the board. Limbs that they took away and Hitler took away from Jewish people.
Steve Dunn shot the Austrian Prime Minister.
That,
do you,
that Oppenheimer did some messy work. More like Sloppenheimer. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Dude, if they made him have that Hitler mustache, that would be amazing. If he had to cut his signature stash just to have, and then, like you said, Bobby, no accent, no changing outfit. He's just Steve Harvey. Like in an alternative universe, Harvey. So we don't even know the word Hitler. It's just Harvey, and that's what we know it as. And it's like basically the Kings of Comedy tour, but it's Hitler's reign. So it's like, Cedric Mine Entertainer. It's like, all right, Sid, like, here he comes. He's like,
Cat Williams is over
Dude,
on the
Cat
FDR
Williams used to be
fireside
Schindler.
chat. No. He's doing the fireside chat, just going, they be killing Jews over in Germany. You know that, right? And FDR's reacting like Shannon Sharp. No!
dude, and they changed the spelling to Bernie Mac.
Quick, throw him in the Bernie Mac. We can't leave any evidence.
Hey, Bobby, I think you already know what segment I put as a timestamp.
Yeah, that's one for sure. Faux show. Now, do you think they would have been more horrified if they found like a treasure trove of Hitler's paintings? And they were like all great, and they're like, guys, I don't know how to tell you this, but we may have found the latest master of the art form.
Well, first off, all of Hitler's paintings are actually really beautiful. If there's one positive thing I can say about the guy, is he was an artist that was unrecognized for his talent, and this is what happened.
And did he not just adapt the medium with which he was working? First, he captured that tragedy in oil, and then he captured it in real life.
Bobby, what if Hitler was just painting a family portrait, but because the family was too wide out, he had to crop some things out, and he's like, you guys' hands and feet are getting in the way. And they're like, well, we can move farther back. It's like, no, I got this. And he paints a beautiful picture.
I'm just imagining like painting a family picture now, and there's like a Jewish family behind them, and they're like, oh, you can just like cut them out, and Hitler goes, that's a good idea, right?
Yeah.
That's how it all started.
They always say artists are most remembered after their death. So Hitler was like, no one likes it now, but they're gonna not stop talking about me when I'm dead. And D.L. Hughley's like, what's my cool Jewish name? Like, you don't get one. You're nuts. You shouldn't even be on the tour.
Kevin
like,
Hart.
damn it.
Kevin Hart plays every Japanese character.
Why Hitler always be killing us? Come on, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, help me. Oh, God damn it. Bernie Mac might be the title of the show. But anyway, it's either that or Skills with a dollar sign. I'm not sure yet. Anyway,
Cardi B's Anne Frank. She's just up in the
why
attic.
is Cardi B in this?
She's just up there making all the noises. They're like, shut up, Cardi. All right. Well, it's not going to get better than that, is it, folks?
I don't think so. And by the way, I'm not even giving my piece of shit. It's me. I saw that story this morning. I was like, there is no reason to cover this. And I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? I know my show. We'll close with it.
That's our power hitter.
Andrew, man, thank you so much for being on. I don't know, Bobby, did you have him plug things already?
Yes, but Andrew.
All right, but Andrew, again, if you want to tell people where they can follow you and shit, please do that right now.
Sure, you can follow me on Instagram at Comedy Screw Up. Again, I got shows coming to be announced in Redline and in Gettysburg. I'll also be in Gettysburg later tonight with Bobby.
Manny Santiago and Big Thez the Landlord hosting that show.
Oh boy, that sounds good. Big Lesbian the Landlord, that's good. You got
Dude.
him.
Now I can't say that, man. That was my opening joke. So
no one's watching this then. Dude, no one's watching this then that. No, who's that?
Andrew
Terry
will
Nee?
know. He might come. He actually may come, but Andrew would know, and just integrity. So maybe now I'll just kill myself on stage.
Yeah, Terry's asking, will you guys be in Gettysburg and you all be there?
It's the Lincoln Social Club is the name of the club, and I believe the show starts at 7. Andrew, do you know?
It starts at 8, but he wants us there at 7.
Who is he? Is that Lennon?
Yeah.
All right, then I'll be there at 7 for Lennon. If it was Big Thez, the landlord.
Big Les, the man lord.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
No, honestly, it was so much fun being on this podcast. Thank you guys so much for having me.
No, dude,
Oh,
we
you're the
really
man,
appreciate you
dude.
being on. You were
Thanks for
fun.
being on. We'll definitely have you on again sometime soon.
I appreciate it.
I'm
Thank
excited, but by the way, I got a couple messages from a couple of guys who said if they were on the podcast, they would have done a better job, and they think that you were terrible at it, and there's no way you should have been on the podcast. So just letting you know, it doesn't leave you. It's not just contests; it's everything you do. It's like, it's like
Can we break the
I
fourth
got
wall?
some Facebook messages to make.
Can we break the fourth wall for 1 second? Watching you realize it was a joke, Andrew, was a very fun because you, like us, have low self-esteem. So at first, I also went, "Oh shit, were people messaging Pat?" But then
No, it's all right.
yeah, what he was doing, it was awesome. You're the
Just
man,
do
buddy.
it.
I'll see you tonight.
See you tonight, man.
Yeah. Yeah. You can jump off if you want now. We're just doing plugs again now. But thank you, man. So yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you for joining us this week. If you guys want to sign up for the Patreon, please do that. We really appreciate it if you would. It'd be amazing. We really need you guys over on there. We've been adding people all the time, putting new content on. So everyone has been joining. Thank you. Going forward, 5 days a week, you will get some kind of content from us in the mornings. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays will be here. That's what we're going to be doing. Tuesday and Thursdays, either a morning show or some kind of clip thing, or if Bobby has a project that he's working on and wants to throw it, you will get something Tuesday and Thursday mornings that will fill, so you'll have your whole week. But you'll only get those Tuesday and Thursday morning things if you're on the Patreon. So jump on over there. You can still get in the comments, do all the thing. We had fun yesterday doing that. And you can go over there now, and if you were like, well, if I go over now, haven't I seen everything this week? No, you already have 2 episodes you didn't get to see if you were on the Patreon from this week, Tuesday and Thursday shows. Also, Tuesday 8 p.m. show is live here, but then also that the replay goes right over to the Patreon. So you're getting lots of stuff on there. We're going to be adding more things, clips, things of that nature, stuff like that. We'll be adding more guests again, too. Bobby and I kind of wanted to really figure out what we were doing with the show and get that structure down before we start peppering guys in. Because we never know if a guy's going to be good, but dude, Andrew Pollack fucking nailed it. Once he got involved, good, short, sweet. I loved him as a guest. He was a lot of fun. I was a little concerned about the noise and it was the cars going in the background. But Bobby, let you know, we were supposed to have a guest earlier in the week, a blind guy who said to me when I saw him last night that he didn't want to be on because he thought it was too noisy. I'm like, well, don't worry about the visual because you won't see it. And then once I heard this, I was like, oh, yeah, dude, just come on. We'll make it work. It's going to be fine. Thank you again, Andrew, for being on. Thank you, everybody in the chat today, fucking hanging out, as always. Thank you, Teresa, for making a first-time appearance. That's pretty cool. I had put up a thing, hey, if you haven't heard me on a PLR in a while, come on over here. Some of the PLR people came over to check it out for a little bit. Scott Fitzpatrick, as always, thank you. Kish, for beginning and ending the show with us. We always appreciate you. Stormy, when she jumped in, Terry, Nee, all our favorites that are in there. We thank you guys so much for getting involved. And yeah, if you can't even join the Patreon, that's fine. All you gotta do is hit like and subscribe. That helps us a whole fucking bunch. We're getting closer to be the monetized shit going on that way. But we have plans of being other places too. So keep on the lookout. We're gonna have the show in so many more spots. We're really happy with how it's going. We're really just having a good time with you guys. So we won't be back again until Monday. So you got the weekend off. So you got time to go back and watch the other ones. But my friend Dion, Bobby, real quick. Dion's a guy who likes to think about numbers and things like that. So he was saying to me, how many more hours do you need till you're monetized? And I told him the amount we needed to make the average work for the 365-day span for the amount of hours watched. And he goes, I know you've joked around and said people, all they need to do is go, and let the playlist just play. If all of them, if not even all of them, if 54 people let the playlist play of POS Mornings for a day, we'd be there.
There you go.
That's not out of the question. It's not the craziest thing I ever heard. If you just put it on for the weekend and kind of let it run, the POS Morning playlist, just let it with the silence off on like a spare iPad, on a TV, whatever it is, and just let it run and play, and it felt like it was getting the views, we'd be monetized. Which is crazy to think about that way, but I'd rather do that than pay an Indian guy money to get the hours.
Oh, for sure. I don't want to pay Indian people for anything. The worst part is then they ask for what they did back.
By the way, I'm just going to say that Terry Nee has been killing it for us all week, but he gets the closing joke. Hands down, the best show. It was a fun one today. Bobby, you got anything else you want to yell at people, or you were done?
Nope, I'm done. Just remember to live life to the fullest and come see me and Pat do comedy so we can pay the rent.
Or unless you're looking for treasure, find that treasure. But don't be shocked if you find something more than treasure. You find Jewish bones.